And yeah, that leaves us with just one match left for the day. We have an absolute classic for you. We have Canada versus the United Kingdom. Both these teams in the losers bracket. Only one of them can advance and keep their World Cup dreams alive. It should be an absolutely incredible match, as you can see on the stream there. 27 minutes is how long you're gonna have to wait. But as for the show match, I want to thank ONG Fords for joining me on this one.
It was a pleasure commentating with you, Damash.
And again, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back in 27 minutes to bring you Canada versus the United Kingdom. See you then.
Until then, goodbye.
for an attack by an unknown enemy.
beasts as far as the eye can see. A plague on the surface, a disgusting swarm in the skies. With a crash of thunder, a new demon appears. Unfurling its rotten wings, it lets out a petrifying scream.
Welcome back, everyone, to OS World Cup 2021. We are here in the finals weekend. We've already had one losers bracket match go on. That was Korea versus Hong Kong. And we're here to find out who faces off against South Korea for the chance at that grand finals weekend. These are two teams who have had some incredible performances all throughout the tournament. Canada versus Great Britain. Canada replacing 5 members with brand new players to the World Cup stage, including their captain, the United Kingdom, with a few new faces as well. Some people who have made their way into the upper echelon of tournament players throughout the community tournament year. And they have both had absolutely fantastic showings, only dropping matches to the two teams in that winner's bracket final. Canada dropping to Germany, the United Kingdom dropping to the United States. My name is Dio, and I'm here to cast this absolute bang-up match alongside the one, the only Doomsday. How's it going, dude?
It's going pretty good. Glad to be back. I am ready for this. Canada versus UK actually has quite a good amount of history in previous matches. One of my favourite matches I've ever played is actually a match in 2030 against Canada. Yeah, these two teams, they know exactly what they're getting into here, and I hope they're ready.
I think they've got to be at this point. I mean, you are in the top 6 of the tournament. It is the finals weekend. You're looking to face off against South Korea in that 3rd place decider match, or rather in the 4th place decider match. Loser of this match drops down 5th, 6th, and exits the tournament. Winner still has that chance at grand finals, still has that chance at a top 3 profile badge, and still has a chance at taking it all as well. So you've got to have your preparation done if you are any of these teams, not only in the winners finals this weekend, but also in the losers bracket. We've seen some pretty ridiculous scores come out of both of these teams, even last weekend on the semifinals pool, hard as it was as well.
Yeah, both these two teams continuing their level of performance, like absolutely. The UK had a pretty grueling run, obviously playing out 2 losers bracket matches, and they were both very close, you know. Pretty tight win against Taiwan, and then an even tighter win against Australia in a Stone Cold Classic. But they've had to really dig deep to get to this point. Canada, it's been fairly plain sailing, you'd say, until they bumped into Germany last week, of course. But they had a good fight there. Didn't find the win, but no doubt they've been looking every inch as strong as, well, what they did last year. Even with so many new players, they're all stepping up.
Yeah, it's been a real treat to see. I think some of the very new players on the Canadian roster step up. I know in the cast on Canada's matchup against Germany last weekend, we talked about some of the newer players like Xylus, for example, filling in just a lot of fill slots all throughout the tournament. Maybe not, in their comfort zone on a lot of maps, but even still putting up solid performances on a wide variety of picks, and even being in for almost every map to allow those more niche players, some of the veterans, to come in and just perform out of their minds on the picks where they do really shine. And I think you've got a sort of similar situation on the UK, where you've got some players who are going to be in on a lot of maps, and for some of them, like Bubbleman, it's still comfortable on pretty much everything. But for some of those players who are filling, they might not be quite as comfortable, and you rely a little bit more on some of those specialists, especially as you get into the later stages.
Yeah, exactly. The UK have a lot of versatility, and they have a lot of players that do fill multiple roles. There isn't really a player on there that just plays like 1 or 2 particular maps. I guess Gemsy would be the closest one to that. That'd be more of an aim and hidden focus, but yeah, everyone in the UK fills multiple roles, and they can generally swap around depending on how they're feeling on the day, which is a very important thing to have, because not everyone's playing 100% all the time.
I know it's something that gets talked about a lot, but if you have more than 4 people who can go in on any single pick, then you do, like you said, get to swap around some people who might not be performing at 100% for somebody who might just be a little bit more comfortable on the pick, and having that versatility really starts to separate some of the really top tier teams from some of the higher tier teams who can get up to that finals weekend but maybe not make it into that coveted top 3. But we do see a couple of bans come out. Why don't we talk about maybe the pick strategy a little bit for these teams, because I think it's something that you can talk about with these two. I think they've got some pretty differing skill sets or some pretty clear preferences between the two teams.
Yeah, for sure. The UK have definitely been targeting a couple particular sorts of maps, namely low AR hidden a lot in their bans, but it looks like that's not what they're going for here. Leaving the AR8 open, which is a rarity for those guys. Taking out the hidden 1, though, which I think against Canada is a pretty decent choice, a nice swap. But it's interesting to see them leave the reading map open.
Yeah, I think like you said, against Canada, it's a pretty solid pick to ban out. They have really preferred that hidden 1. You've got players like Frankie and Zudi who go in for that slot almost every week and just demolish it. Zudi with the full combo, Frankie with 900k last weekend on the semifinals hidden 1 pickup. And even though this one is a little bit more gimmicky, a little bit more slider focused, it definitely works out to be banning that out. I'm a little interested to see an alt ban from the UK as well, but again, you've got some players who just really shine on that type of stuff on Team Canada. But Nomad 6 and DT2 banned out by Canada. I'm a little surprised at the DT2 ban. I actually thought they might have left that up. So thoughts on those types of bans from Canada? It's a little interesting.
Both these two teams are pretty beastly speed teams. They've been going for that speed abuse a lot, pretty much all throughout the tournament, these two. I guess Canada don't trust that 50-50 against the UK, but the Nomad 6, I'm curious about that. UK haven't been favouring those maps either, unless they absolutely need to. Oh my god, it's a Nomad 1 first, Dio.
As a first pick as well. You know, usually you don't see Nomad 1 as a first pick anymore. People tend to think it's a little RNG, and I think you mentioned that in the last showcase you were on, but I feel like this kind of fits for Canada.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is actually a really good first pick, because the UK tend to avoid Nomad 1 a lot. We have banned it quite a few times. So they generally prefer to go into other skill sets. So putting them onto Nomad 1 may make them a little bit uncomfortable in this first map. And we talk about it a lot. The Canada mental game is probably the best in the tournament. They're going to be ready to open up on a Nomad 1. They're going to be set. I actually really like this opening pick from Canada. Really good choice. Even with the aim players that the UK have. And they're going to be fine on this. This may rock them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think, you know, even at this star rating, even at 7.3-ish stars, when you get up this high, you've still got players on both of these teams who, on a good day, are going to be able to FC this pick very, very often and can absolutely do so in solo play, but it's that consistency, especially on a map like this. If you've played this map before in a tournament, you know that this pick just really doesn't let up, and even the in-between sections are still pretty difficult. But the Ki, this is a classic, you know, this is a classic aim farm map. The Ki times are really where it's at in this one. It's where you get that massive spacing. It's where the star rating comes from. So overall consistency definitely going to matter, but the ability to adjust that cursor velocity properly going into the Ki times definitely matters as well. Especially on such a low BPM. 191 is a little bit low for this type of spacing and this type of star rating.
Yeah, a little bit. So the spacing is very wide, even slightly wider than usual. It's relentless in those choruses and those Ki's like you mentioned. Well, here we go then, Dio. It's a loser's bracket match this. The winner of this guarantees at least top 4 and will guarantee a date with South Korea.
That is a scary date to have for either of these teams for sure. You saw exactly what that core 3 roster can do for South Korea up against Hong Kong earlier. So anybody going up against them is going to have to be ready to put in players who can perform just as well on basically any pick We do see a very early drop from Frankie on Team Canada. Should be able to just shake it off, though, and get right back into it. It's only 100 combo down, and in a map this long, that's not going to impact too much. But again, you can already see some of this gigantic spacing coming out. Not even a quarter of the way into the map, we see another break come through for Carthy, and that switches the combo lead back over to Canada.
Getting into one of the big key eyes in just a moment. It's going to be with Canada as we enter it, though. There you go.
See another drop from Carthy right before the KI time, but Xylus follows it right up for Canada. Blue dropping the second full combo for the United Kingdom. Frankie's still on the recovery as well. Did drop that early miss, as is a 100 combo down from an FC, but far better for the miss than either Blue or Carthy, and that's where that combo lead is coming from for Canada right now. Otherwise, 2 full combos to 2, so it is only that supporting score making the difference at the moment.
The early miss, the classic strat for Frankie, working out well. Take off some of those nerves, you know.
Can't be nervous if you're not full comboing.
True.
Out of the Ki, and you can see exactly what we were talking about, right? Where you've now just got this in-between section that's really not all that difficult. The spacing far lower in this part of the map. And I think it's a welcome break for some of these players. You know, take a second, readjust your grip if you need to, readjust where your mouse is, and make sure that you're ready to go into the next Ki time. It's a little bit, in that respect, less overall consistent in terms of the difficulty, but once you get back into these sections, there we go, there's some high spacing again. The difference is so stark on this map when you look at those Ki times, and here we go into another set of these massive jumps over and over again. Everybody holding on, though, through the start of this second Ki.
Aim players, man. Couple of breaks from recoveries, but the 2 FCs on each team still standing.
Yes, crucially, the trade of breaks as well, right? Neither Blue nor Xylus missing alone, both of them just trading those misses, and again, like you said, the full combo is still standing. The other supporting combos as well for Frankie and Carthy is still standing. And so Frankie, with the only one miss, the reverse choke, going into the last quarter of the map. There go Dempsey and Nick. 2 full combos traded right at the same time. And again, it's just a trade of combos, Dooms. It's still so close between them.
Yeah, nothing changes. There's even more weight now on Zooty and Bubbleman after that. But those players have no problems mechanically. They just need to keep their nerve. There goes Frankie. Hang on.
That's now a big combo lead for Carthy on the UK. That supporting combo is where the entire combo lead is for the UK right now. Xylus does drop. Frankie drops again. There goes Bubbleman, though, with the full combo, though. It's Zootinator, the only one to hold on to the FC through this section. 100 as well. 99.94% accuracy at the moment for her. And I think that secures it.
It's still going over, isn't it?
It is, just barely. I think it's the supporting combo, Blue and Carthy combined, plus a little bit extra from Gemsy. Oh, this is going to be so close. She has to hold until the very end for this to work out.
I think she's about to, you know. Wow, what a performance from Zooty. Absolutely imperative she held, and she did. First blood will go to Canada here.
Now, that map has no spinners, right? That's a 1-100 full combo on a map with no spinners. So unless somebody SS's the map, that is the best score of the weekend on the map. What a job from Zooty holding on to the full combo. And like you said, really important. She does the extra supporting score at the end for the UK, almost enough to bring it back over, but it's just not quite enough for the extra supporting combos to matter.
Well, here comes the speed. Straight away, the UK going right into their strengths and some of their strongest picks here. 270 BPM speed all day, every day. That's this one. It is relentless. But the UK roster are perfectly suited to something like this. So I think Canada will mind too much themselves.
I feel like it's funny, you know, the swap in Canada's preferences on a lot of picks from you know, in the early stages of the tournament being extremely consistent on a lot of the speed picks and actually winning out a lot of early matchups on some of the speed picks as well, despite, you know, continually picking into a lot of the aim picks. And then once it hits a certain level, this team starts to just heavily prefer those aim picks. And not only last week against Germany, but now the UK taking full advantage of that as well. And they have just a nasty speed roster for the UK. Like you said, Malteser, Majora, Bubbleman as a 3-player speed roster by itself is just absolutely ridiculous for them.
It's insane. The hit 270 BPM and they're not going to be too fussed about it. The aim is probably where the difference may lie for these guys. Canada, I feel like in terms of just raw speed ability and the AC, Canada might have a little bit of a harder time matching, but they have the ability to combo through this. And, well, it's the sort of map that does have quite a decent amount of aim to it. Not a massive amount, but it isn't just mindless speed. That aim element is important and you have to deal with it. That may be the thing that splits these two up. Bringing in Curtis and Muffin Slayer, that's the usual roster for speed on Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
That is definitely their usual roster. At lower BPMs, you can start to see a little bit of flex for Canada. Zudinator starts to come in for some of those lower BPM speed picks. But like you said, some of the aim on this might be a deciding factor. I know, for example, Curtis on Canada, extremely strong on just the raw speed. But when you add in that aim factor, the shakes start to come into play, especially for some of these rookie members who, like Curtis, are brought in just for speed alone, just for the single skill set. And so the pressure is on to perform when it is time for your skill set. Early break, though, for Kingling on the side of the UK, so we do see a slight score lead come out for Canada at the start of this map, but lots of combo in this, and there's the break for Curtis. Actually, on one of the streams, it looked like a misaim off to the side, but does drop down a second time as well, and the recovery is there for Kingling. Majora, though, however, also misses on some of the aim patterns. 99.5 AC for Majora, but has dropped the miss. The combo game starts to come into effect for Canada, still on 3 FCs.
The combo game's strong, can't be losing that. 2 FCs to 3, make that 3 FCs to 1 now. It's only Malteser left for the UK. This ending is pretty hard though.
But this score lead is already just starting to rocket over towards Canada. That extra 2 full combos on Nick and Xylus. Muffin Slayer and Malteser matching. Muffin Slayer and Nick both break, however, at the same time. They're supporting combo on the side of the UK, but I don't think it's enough.
Nah.
This is already a 500,000 score lead for Canada, and this is an early 2-0 start for them as well.
Yeah, really strong early run here for Team Canada. Nice score as well. 3.3 million on that. Solid across their team. Really good stuff here from the Canadians, and a big break point on one of the UK's strongest skill sets. This is a massive start here for Canada.
That is honestly that's a very solid start, but it's reminiscent a little bit of the start that they had against Germany. They had that 2-0 start and then lost 6 in a row to Germany. So they're going to need to continue with some dominant picks. They're going to need to make sure that they can keep this breakpoint consolidated, because if you can't keep the breakpoint to yourself, if you can't keep that score lead, then eventually your opponent is going to have a pretty easy time of either forcing the tiebreaker or just winning outright. So they're going to need to keep the strong picks intact. Luckily, on a pool this size, there are a lot of maps for them to take advantage of, and I think this Hard Rock 1 pick works pretty well for them.
Yeah, it's filling into the same sort of idea that they went with the No Mod 1. Although Hard Rock 1 is definitely more of a UK thing, really, than the No Mod 1 is. Of course, the AR-10 on this very old school AIM map. This is an old Starstream map. But the style of it isn't so weird that it's unplayable via modern standards, but it has those linears and it has those little cheeky patterns you tend to see on old maps. But pure AR-10 aiminess will suit UK a bit better than the No Mod 1, but I think Canada, I think it's the same for those guys as well. On that AR-10, their aim roster is far more suited to something like that. Do you agree with that one?
It's tough to say. I think a lot of the players on Team Canada tend to prefer hidden when you get to that AR-10 point, but there's definitely a big advantage, I think, on the skill set preference. But even then, what we saw in No Mod 1 was so close between these two teams that it's hard to even call it a preference at this point. Based on the first two picks, you'd expect, you know, the UK to maybe have better chances on aim maps and Canada to be starting to pick into the speed a little bit, but I don't think that I don't think that's a trend that's going to continue. So
No.
it really comes down, I think, to the practice on something like this, where you've got really awkward sorts of polygonal pattern aim that Starscream loves to make use of. It's what makes the maps so fun that he does make, but it's also what makes them a little tricky. And when you have those extra nerves in a tournament setting, when Hard Rock is applied and that circle size goes down, or up rather, it can make it a little bit difficult to hold on. So players like Jeremy, like Frankie and Zudi, who are really strong on that pattern aim, are going to have to be popping off for Canada. Nick as a fourth, also not to be underestimated. You saw what he could do, not only on No Mod 1, but on that DT pick as well. Definitely has some very strong improvement going for him. So I'm excited to see what Canada brings to the table. But like you said, some of the aim players here for the UK, especially Kingling on a Hard Rock 1, man, that is somebody to be scared of.
Yeah, especially with this map being a little bit on the weirder side. That benefits Kingling all day long. For pure, comfortable Hard Rock 1 aim, you don't usually see him. But for something like this, it's a good draft. It's pretty interesting to see Jeremy in for this one as well.
Yeah, I think this map, you know, you mentioned it being not exactly a normal aim pick. I think that favors some of the more well-rounded members on either team who tend to go in for some of the more awkward sorts of picks. You see, like you mentioned, Kingling for the UK, Jeremy in for Canada. Off to a little bit of a rough start for Jeremy. Does find a couple misses here. Traded right back by Blue, however, on the UK. Majora and Frankie also trading breaks on either side. So it is two full combos to two. Kingling and Bullman versus Zudinator and Nick right now. Oh, never mind. That was Bancho misses on both Majora and Frankie, actually. Kingling, however, does drop that reverse choke, or does drop the full combo. And so now it is 3 full combos to 2 in Canada's favor after we get a little bit of trolling from the tournament client.
That keeps us guessing, doesn't it? It's with Canada. We know this much. Takes that jumps here before the end of the first chorus. The combos hold through it, just about. Oh, Majora with the break. It's 3 FCs to 1 in favour of Canada. Oh, mate, Canada are in a pretty spicy spot right now. That winds down a little bit in difficulty, although the awkward patterns never really stop in this, even in the verses.
I mean, you just saw that square jump into a massive space stream as well. Everybody actually hitting it, but it's those types of patterns that make you stay on your toes, right? You see continued breaks coming out for Kingling on the UK, Jeremy as well at that 100 combo mark for Canada. But it's these 3 FCs, Frankie, Zudi, and Nick, just doing work for Canada right now. Bubbleman doing what he can for UK, the continual tank for the team, right? But there's only so much that one player can do when the entire team of Canada is just looking super comfortable on this. We are only halfway through, however. This lead is not huge yet. It's only about 200k. So a collapse from Canada and a continual hold from Bubbleman, which is very possible, can still bring this back over towards the UK, but it is looking very good for Canada right now.
Yeah, they're through another chorus, another key. It's still 3 FCs to 1. They see at the break where they stand now. Canada know they have a lot of insurance, but they know they're against Bubbleman. Won't give him any room to breathe. It would take a pretty big collapse for this to switch over, but plenty of sections for that to happen right here.
Stream's catching Jeremy off, but that's not who the UK needs to miss on Canada. Every full combo still holding through this section. There go Bubbleman and Frankie, and I think that actually probably seals it up for Canada with no FC left on the UK, even with that collapse from Zudinator as well. Now it's just Blue versus Nick as Majora and Kingling follow it up, and that's a combo trade that Nick wins right now. Up 500 combo on Blue, still holding the FC for Canada, and with a 400,000 score lead and climbing with only a sliver of map left. That's a 3-0 start for Canada in this match.
Canada are just popping off. There's nothing you can really say other than that. This is a lightning start here from the Canadians. That was an incredible run as well. It was 3 FCs all the way to the ending. Even with Jeremy, filling in here, his team had his back and then some. That's another really good performance from Canada. No FC, but Frankie, Zuti, Nick, that's an excellent run there. This is actually really spooky. Canada already have the best mental. They have a 3-point lead over the UK. It is all coming up roses here for these guys.
I mean, this is a crazy start for Canada. They are already up 3-0. They've got a break point to their name. They just need to win their own picks in order to take the entire match at this point. The UK definitely backs against the wall. They need to find themselves a break point somewhere, and they need to convert on a pick as well. They've only had the DT3 pick so far, but continuing with the speed, unshaken by the loss on Double Time 3. It is Nomad 5 now picked up, and, well, you see Toho Undead Corporation, 240 BPM. You see Zelk as the mapper, and you probably already know a lot of what's going on in this map.
Yeah, this is the AR8 reading map in Nomad. Yeah. No, this is speed and stamina. Button mashing once again. It's another UK special pick, and it's another one that I think is a really strong pick for them. I said that about the DT3 as well, and then that flipped over. So it's going to be another tight fight, I think.
I think this is honestly a really tough pick for teams that, you're looking for a fourth player to come in and be solid on for this type of map, because it's so relentless. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds, like you said. There's not really any breaks. There's no downtime in this. There's no, half beat snap divisor jump spam anywhere for you to recover your, 1/4 pattern stamina. It is just all 1/4 all throughout the map, and that is exceptionally brutal when there are no breaks and for this long in a map like this. So you're looking towards the true stamina beast to be in for this one, and I'm still certainly scared of the UK's speed roster. Canada showed, though, on DT3, they've got what it takes to contest the UK on speed, for sure.
There was a pretty key swap, though, compared to DT3. They had Kingling in for that one, who did bottom score for his team in that one, but they are bringing in Carthy, and I feel like that's a good swap. Obviously, Carthy is known for his streaming ability, and 240 shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. I think it's a pretty good swap for something like this that is less about the raw high-end speed, but more about sort of moderate DT, pure stamina. Looking at this might actually suit UK even better. If Canada can win this one, though, I don't even know what the UK does at that point. UK drops this, they are in a world of hurt.
Yeah, a 4-0 start for any team in any match is just absolutely ridiculous. Canada very likely to make that a 5-0 if they do end up winning this breakpoint. They do have the next pick after this. So like you said, the UK really need to be able to pick this point up. You gotta have faith, though. They're definitely still having faith in the speed abuse strategy, first picking DT3, and even after the loss, subbing out a player and making sure that they're prepared and ready to go for this next pick. But you see an early drop for Bubble Man and a drop at the start of the map from Majora as well. Carthy and Maltese are still on the full combo, and there's honestly not that much combo lost on the side of the UK, so the score lead is not going to increase all that fast from Canada. Maybe a little bit of early map intentional misses there at the start for the UK, shake off some of those nerves.
Yeah, we'll go with that. They were the Jesse misses, as we call them in the UK. Carthy had a bit of a slow start on the streams, but he appears to have warmed into it. Yeah, it seems like everyone has settled in pretty well at this point. Canada settling in far better. Oh, that miss, though, is actually going to set them back. Muffin Slayer and Curtis, hang on.
Yeah, Emmy and Curtis both down there at basically the same time. It's some of those bursts into a couple of jumps that catch both of them off. Nick and Zyla still holding on for Canada, but Malteser, Carthy on the FCs, and Bubbleman and Majora with fantastic recoveries now, both up about 600 combo or so on their counterparts on Team Canada. And that is a pretty large combo lead for the United Kingdom, looking very solid after some adjustment issues into this map. Bubbleman, though, does find another break. But again, it's still better supporting combo for the UK right now as long as Majora holds.
And with Nick breaking as well, only Xylus left. UK in a far better position now. After getting into it early on, they are looking pretty good here. It's a long map though, we're only hitting halfway.
Yeah, you say...
You have a chance, you know.
You say something like, 600 combo up, that's a lot of combo, right? Well, this map is like almost 3k max combo, because it's just one fourth pattern, 240 BPM all over the place. Crucially though, a miss comes through for Carthy. That's a full combo down for the UK. You definitely wanted to see that full combo hold a little bit longer for the UK. They're still up 150k on the score, but this is better supporting combo now for Canada. The recovery is there for Curtis. Nick is matching the supporting combo, about matching the supporting combo from Bubbleman right now as well. And even with an extra miss for Muffin Slayer, the combo lead on Curtis over either Majora or Carthy is enough to offset that. So this is crucial for the UK. Malteser has to hold, and you're really looking for a miss to come through from Curtis or from Xylus right now on Team Canada.
How long do they hold? This map does not stop. You don't think stamina will be an issue for these guys? It's going to come down to a miss-aim or something, or a mistap. Will one of them drop one, though?
We actually saw 3 people drop them. Curtis, Nick, and Muffin Slayer all dropping on Team Canada. Majora matching on the UK, but that's not the combo you care about. It's Malteser and Bubbleman on those high combos. Malteser still on the FC, Bubble on that 1k combo, and it is now Xylus versus the world for Canada. But that's the exact scenario you want to see, rooting for the UK right now. Looking good on this map, over 200k up with just a sliver left to go.
Yeah, looks like they've just about banked it. Looking pretty scary, and Canada once again competing with the UK on their strong picks. But it is going to be a UK point, getting on the board and keeping themselves pretty much in this game. Dropping that would have hurt a lot, but that's going to keep the UK in punching distance here. Nice FC there for Malteser. A pretty hard carry, I'd say. The recoveries were good, but Malteser holding there was massive.
And I think that's sort of what you're looking for from a roster where, you know, you've got a core 3 for speed and then one player who flexes in depending on the type of speed map that you've got. And I think that's kind of the roster for both of these teams, but very clearly the level of comfort for the UK just a little bit higher. Bubbleman and Majora on 6 and 500k supporting scores respectively, and Carthy, their flex member, with that extra 600k as well. It really comes down to those supporting scores. Xylus with around an 850k on that map compared to the FC from Malteser. That's not a huge difference, but when you add it up with all that extra supporting score coming in from the other 3 players, that's where the UK earns their point, and it's where they start to shine a little bit on those speed picks. But unfortunately for them now, the maps left in the DT pool really aren't that focused on speed anymore. DT won the next pickup for Canada.
They really are going into that aim abuse, aren't they? Canada picking all of the 1 picks. No Mod 1, Hard Rock 1, and DT 1. It's another one that's focused on the aim. But with all the aim maps generally having their own identity, doing very different things, this one's no exception. It's got relatively comfortable big jumps, but it has lots of little patterns and little 1-4 rhythm here and there that you have to keep track of, as well as that AR 10.3 raw aim. So it's a bit of a mixed one, this.
I feel like that's kind of a lot of the aim picks this week, is that they're, you know, the main strain is obviously still the aim, but there's a lot of little extra things going on that give it that little extra bit of spice that makes the map, you know, interesting for the players for sure, but a more multifaceted skill test than some of the other picks that we've seen in previous weeks that were just very straightforward on the aim with what they wanted you to do. Especially looking at Hidden 1 and Hard Rock 1, but this map as well, like you said, I think this one is a less bursty version of the original map. So this was a little bit modified, but definitely still has some really wonky patterns in it as well.
Yeah, plenty of those. Watching the key eyes for some of the harder patterns, of course, as you usually expect in these sorts of maps. It has that usual ebb and flow of difficulty, but as a lot of these custom maps have been, it's pretty much hitting you with something difficult at all times, even in the verses. But you are looking at the choruses for the slightly trickier sections in terms of the aim. Blue back in here for this DT1 aim, swapping out for Carthy. He has been pretty solid on these raw aim picks, Blue.
We see a similar swap for Canada as well. Zudinator coming in for Curtis on their roster. No raw speed players in for this one in particular. Xylus, Muffin Slayer, and Nick all in for the DT aim pick as well. Early breaks from Muffin Slayer, Nick, and Malteser. So 2 breaks for Canada, only the 1 for the UK at this point, going into this first PI time. Everybody else still holding on to those full combos. 2-3 right now in the UK's favor for FCs.
Back and forth jumps here. Blue finds the miss. So it is with Canada a little bit as we get out of that first PI. Even more so now, there goes Majora.
That's a big miss from Canada as well, though. Xylus dropping the full combo right after Majora's drop. It is 1 FC to 1 right now, team. Zudi and Bubbleman still holding on for either team. The act, though, on Bubbleman's play definitely helping the score a little bit. 99.3% on his FC, but the supporting combos doing a little bit of extra work for Canada. Now a lot of extra work as a miss comes through for Malteser on that high supporting combo. A miss for Blue right afterwards as well. So Muffin Slayer and Nick now with free reign over the supporting combo, but there goes Muffin Slayer, and now Majora matching a little bit of the supporting combo coming out of Canada. An extra miss coming out from Canada can start to swing this back over, but are still relatively comfortable on this one. There goes Nick's combo, and now it's a combo lead straight up for the UK. The FCs are matching between Zudinator and Bubble, and it's Majora with the 500 supporting combo, exceeding Xylus's, and then extra supporting combo just for free on Malteser and Blue as Nick and Muffin Slayer find a couple extra misses, and this is going to start to swap over.
Final KI now. More big jumps to hit here. Still those 2 FCs hold. And there goes Majora, but that's not the one. It's all too little too late. And that's stolen right back from Canada now. UK take another point, cutting that lead back down to 1. Now they've got their own pick in tow. UK all of a sudden are right back in a decent position after that rough start that they had. And that strong one that Canada had. But look at those FCs, Dio. There's 2 FCs on this. But from the players you'd expect, right?
Those are definitely the players I expect to see FCs on this map from. Yeah, definitely, I think, a rough go of it, though, for Canada on this one. You've got scores hovering around that 600k range for all of their supporting scores, but you've got just slightly higher, high supporting scores for the UK, particularly on Majora. That's 760k, doing a lot of work keeping the extra score on their side. The accuracy from Bubbleman on that full combo can't go not talked about either. We've got to talk about that a little bit, because that adds quite a lot of score when you've got that extra 1.2 times multiplier on the ACK. It does quite a lot to keep the score on their side, especially on a close map like that, decided by 150k or so on the thing.
I'd love to know the unstable rate that he had, because that map is really high OD as well for a DT pick. As it's OD 8.3, that's pretty high. 99.5 on that sort of OD is no joke. Shows a great amount of comfort. So now with the UK next pick in tow, well, they can't go into speed anymore. No more speed abuse. I don't think that last DT particularly suits them either. That Koisuru Marionette, that's more of a low BPM control pick. But there's something like the Nomad 2. Romanesque being a pure spaced stream map suits their stream players pretty well, but Canada have formidable stream players as well. Or there's Hard Rock, and Hard Rock is probably the big one. Yeah, I'd say this is a good choice.
I actually agree a lot with this pick. I was going to say some of the Hard Rock players on the UK just love this type of stuff. Just a straight up, high-tech tech map here in Hard Rock. Low BPM stuff with really wonky patterns that makes its way here into Hard Rock. Relatively short as a pick, but when you do have players on the UK like Kingling and Bubbleman, who I think will just eat this type of map alive, this seems like a very, very strong pick to them.
Yeah, they have the specialists to really step up on something as gimmicky as this on Hard Rock. You know, not least of which people like Kingling, but Majora and Bubbleman both capable on this sort of thing as well. Blue, I think, is a solid fill for anything mechanically intensive, and he's going to be perfectly fine on something this techy. It's not incredibly weird, but it is that small circle size, AR-10, low BPM tech styling. The ending's also particularly hard on this. It has patterns that we've christened burnt rice patterns, these quads that have a jump on the second note on an offbeat, which can be a little tricky movement to make on a one try.
So the players on Team Canada are going to have to be on their toes for this type of pick. The UK looking to tie it up after a 3-0 start for Canada. It goes back. We were talking about, you need to keep that breakpoint consolidated. If you lose one back, it's all the easier for your opponents to get it tied up, force that tiebreaker, or even worse, just win straight up after taking a second breakpoint. So the momentum now, if this pick does go over to the UK, definitely starting to shift in their favor. Talk about the mental game when you are down 3-0, but you manage to take those 2 in a row, get that breakpoint back. It can do so much to help you recover mentally, and the UK definitely looking to take advantage of that momentum on this pick. A couple early breaks coming through for multiple players. Xylus with a miss right at the start of the map. Zuninator and Jeremy trading the combo with Majora. Kingling missing a little bit earlier on into the pick, but it is 2 full combos to 2 right now. Never mind, make that 1 full combo to 2. Nick also dropping down on Team Canada. These types of patterns are just so tricky to hold the FC through. Blue and Bubbleman still holding on alongside Xylus.
More to go of this. There goes Bubbleman. Blue, the only one left for the UK against Xylus there.
And there he goes, Xylus, the last full combo for Canada, down. Some of these cut streams are just ridiculously hard, but Blue dropping right before the slow section, and now, Dooms, we start to look at some of these supporting combos, some of the recoveries from either side. You've got slightly better recovery, slightly better supporting combo from Canada. Zudi with the highest combo in the lobby, Majora right next to her, but Jeremy and Nick basically matching the combos from Majora and Bubbleman. Xylus matching the combo from Kingling, and now, just with a straight-up combo advantage, Nick and Kingling both missing again. Back into some of these cut stream sections. Zudi and Jeremy missing as well. It's only Xylus holding on Team Canada.
There goes Majora, Xylus far and away. No, Bubbleman's still up. That's going to be fine for the UK. UK should be able to seal this one thanks to Bubbleman comboing this entire ending. Xylus getting close though, but it ain't going to be enough. Back and forth, really tough fight on that. UK just about holding through on that ending. They can thank Bubbleman for that. Bubbleman saves the day there once again. But on the whole, it was a pretty decent team performance here for the UK. And, well, would you look at that? It's 3-all.
We gotta talk about Bubbleman a little bit, man. This guy, how consistent do you have to be to play every single map that has been put up so far? And to top score 4 out of 6 of them for your team, to then be second from the top on the remaining 2 maps that your team has played. I mean, this is just... He does it every year, he does it every weekend for the UK during the World Cup, but this is just again, fantastic performance from him. You've got other players who fill in for some of these maps, and you expect some of those specialists to do really well for the UK, but by God, when you have somebody like Bubbleman on the team who has been around for so long, who is a consistent rock, it just has to do so much for the overall team confidence.
Absolutely. And of course, in true Bubbleman fashion, he's going on about the 1 misses he keeps getting, because he can do more than that, and that's the insane thing about Bubbleman. His skill ceiling is ridiculous, but at the moment, he is certainly a standout player. Even with those 1 misses he's probably complaining about. Here comes some number 2 though, picked by Canada. We're talking about this as a UK pick, but it wouldn't exactly be a stone cold win for them, because Canada, their stream roster right in there. Look at those 4 they have.
I think for Canada, when you can start to bring in players like Vesprit, who, you know, don't really have the raw speed to do well on stuff like Nomad 5 or on DT3, but absolutely have the stamina for something like this that's only 200 BPM instead of 240, who have specialization towards flow aim as well on picks like this, it starts to look a lot better for you. They had fantastic scores on Nomad 2 throughout the tournament, even going back to round of 16, even going to last weekend. You compare the scores between Canada and the UK, and it is just super close on both of them. A win for Canada if you look at the UK's second run on the map, but a win for the UK by a very close margin if you look at their first run through the map. So this is definitely a contested pick, but you have to like the confidence from Canada going for something a little bit different from the picks that they've gone for so far in this match.
Yeah, breaking away from the aim maps, which have served them very well. I think they really had to at this point because they pretty much ran out of them, but this is definitely a good fallback option. But it is a contested pick, no doubt. The team winning this is in a pretty big spot when it comes to the rest of the pool, especially with these two teams sharing a lot of the same sort of preferred skill sets. So the winner of this is a big point in in comparison to this game. So.
Especially Canada, if they are able to win this, there's a few more, I think, even looking towards the rest of the pool, a few streamier picks, a few more flowing focused picks that can go very well for a team who has the momentum on this type of stuff. But if they lose this, it's also a break point down, and we've got some early misses coming through for basically everybody on Team Canada. Silas, Frankie, and Nick all dropping some early misses. It's Vesprit holding on to the only FC for them. Very early miss for Majora as well on the UK, but everybody else holding strong for them right now.
It's 2 minutes long, but the relentless nature of these streams means there is a lot of combo. And because it's spaced streams, you miss a note, you miss a whole stream, you lose a lot of score. So leads can disappear very quickly on a map like this if someone drops a big combo and drops a lot of notes.
Luckily, we haven't seen any of those chain misses that you're talking about yet on this map, but there are certainly some sections coming up that can force them out of some players. Once you start getting those streams that are completely spaced out with some of these really tough corners to deal with as well in the middle of those high spacing sections, that's where you're going to look to find any of those chain misses. But everybody holding strong through this middle section of the map. Misses in the middle, very impactful. There's a miss for Nick, drops on the highest spacing section and misses afterwards on the second stream following. Everybody on the UK still holding through this section. It's still only the early miss for Majora right now, and this is looking so good for them. Still one full combo up, but there goes Malteser and Carthy at the same time. Majora dropping as well, and it's only Bubbleman now holding. He's on 100, drops a finally second 100 on this full combo, and there goes his FC as well. It's only Xylus holding up right now.
Big man Xylus, the captain. It's on him to run away with this. There it goes, but a bit of a lead to take here. Into the ending flourish here. Still all to play for.
There are still some combos on the side of the UK. Bubbleman and Carthy with a little bit of combo, but there's advantage right now on Canada. Nick, Frankie, and Vesprit all with higher combo than Carthy and Bubbleman. And I think that might just be enough to get them over the edge. It's by 250k, but they managed to come out on top for Team Canada. That was such a close pick, though, Dooms. We saw full combos held over halfway into the map for, what was that, 4 members on the United Kingdom? Absolutely crazy performance, but just not able to hold on quite long enough into the map.
You can see the combos where they broke, around just past 900 combo for 3 of them. And then Bubbleman soon after. It's just that section where they just found that slip here and there. Malteser just on 2 miss with that accuracy. But at the end of the day, it's that combo through the middle in the end from Nick and Xylus. Getting the job done here for Canada. They've got that lead back. And it's a big point to win. Huge for Canada, that. But I wouldn't say it gives them too much hope for the other flow aim picks, because it's still very contested. That Nomad 2. Yeah, that's a big battleground to win on.
Both teams really with their, sort of most favored skill set completely gone out of the pool now. No aim picks left for Canada, no raw speed picks left for the UK, but you do have a few maps that still play into it a little bit. This free mod 2 pick here is just a little bit crazy on some of the stream stamina, even despite being our hybrid precision and low approach rate reading map, Dooms. This is an interesting one.
Oh yeah, this is a really tough map in terms of the no mod players. I guess really more specifically the hidden players. Hidden on this is particularly difficult in comparison to the other mods. This relatively high BPM, very dense pick. AR 8.3, but the higher BPM makes up for that density, and it has some particularly nasty stream sections in the middle and the end, combined with a lot of linear aim patterns that overlap a lot. It's a scary one for the reading side of your team, and a specialist on that is needed to get a major score to contribute, right? So you're going to be relying on your normal players and probably your hard rock player, where it is quite a bit more doable for the most part. I'm thinking for the UK, they have some players that could fill on a hidden very well. Canada, though, they have a whole plethora of hidden mains that could fill that. But on this low approach rate pick that's quite tough mechanically, I'm wondering how the head-to-head's going to be.
I'm really interested to see whether we see a hidden hard rock from Canada or not, because I think the players on Canada really tend to prefer free mod picks where they can go hidden hard rock. Frankie in particular is such a fantastic hidden hard rock player. You've seen Canada, for example, take 7 mods on a map. Yeah, and there's the comfort hidden hard rock for Frankie. Comfort hard rock only for a Muffin Slayer here. Hidden only for Xylus. I think that probably went without saying, but this is a really tricky map to play with hidden hard rock. The spacing on some of these streams once you apply HR is just bonkers, and even still you see 2 hard rocks for the UK as well. Kingling and Majora both taking that hard rock in order to help deal with that lower approach rate on this map.
Yeah, it suits the players a lot more to take the AR-10 and the harder mechanics. I think those hard rock onlys are understandable, and Frankie hidden hard rock, that's just his thing. So all this makes sense, really.
You already see a couple breaks come out, though. Frankie and Boban trading those early misses. It's a slight score lead for Canada. It's going to start to move further in their favor with an extra miss coming out from Majora on that hard rock. Xylus trading it straight away on the hidden, but there goes Kingling's hard rock play as well. It's now 1 full combo to 2 at the moment. Muffin Slayer and Nick holding on for Canada. Only blue left up on the hidden for the UK, and as Muffin Slayer drops now, it is 1-to-1 on the full combos. You've just got some supporting combo here and there, which favors the UK a little bit with the timing of their misses, but there goes blue's full combo. And now it's just Nick left up going into the stream section. You've got some good supporting combos as well on Canada. Frankie with the recovery on over 300, now cresting 400 combo with hidden hard rock.
It's a bit of a dicey start for both teams, but Canada have the better of it. Reaching the halfway point. Some more linear aim here. Harder streams are to come, though, and those harder streams could split these two teams up quite a bit. Here we go.
See a miss come out for Xylus, the hidden only player, dropping down for Canada. But there goes that hidden play for blue. Majora following it up for the UK with a second miss. And now, look at these supporting scores for Canada, Dooms. Nick finally drops the full combo, but there goes Kingling supporting score as well. It's only Bubble Man now holding on to high combo. Frankie dropping the hidden hard rock score as well. It's Muffin Slayer versus Bubble right now on the high combos, but that's a 400,000 score lead for Canada built up when they had that massive combo advantage. And with just a sliver of map left, there's not even that much potential score left on Bubble Man to bring this back. This is a break point for Canada late on into the match, 5-3.
That is a spicy one. I mean, I think this was a brave pick going into Canada from the UK, but it hasn't worked out. Canada have got their 2-point lead back. They are in another amazing position with just 2 maps left to the victory. Nice team score as well. 700k on 3 of those players, on Hard Rock and Hidden Hard Rock. That's not to be scoffed at, man. That's a good run from Canada.
That is a crazy run from Canada. You've got to shout out the 900k from Bubble, 1 miss with 2 100s.
What is that,
by the way, is just a little bit crazy. When this was played in Corsair's Open 2020, I don't remember anybody getting a score that good. So this is a really ridiculous score from Bubbleman, but unfortunately, it is that team game. It is the 4v4, and those 3 high scores for Canada in that 700k range deliver hard on the free mod pick.
It's working out so well. Canada going into that again. Granted, this map is a very different one to the last one. It's still got a pretty decent flow aim element to it. Republic Parallel, very similar to something like Critical Cannonball that we had in last year's pools. Very streamy, crazy velocity changes on those stream patterns, and plenty of kick slider patterns in a very slider tech sort of fashion. But obviously it's on free mod. I don't think we're going to be seeing overmodding here though, Dio, right?
I would be so surprised.
I mean, maybe a Hard Rock, possibly because of the CS, but it's CS 3.5. If it was CS 3, maybe. Then again, Canada versus UK.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them now. I'm thinking about that.
It's questionable. It's questionable whether we do or not, but at the same time, it's AR 9.5. It's only 190 BPM. It's not super combo dense for this type of map, so you gotta hope that most of these players are comfortable enough on no mod that you can just put your best players on their best mods and be relatively comfortable for the rest of it. But with Zudinator, Frankie, and Vesperit in the lobby for this one, we might even just see an overmod hidden for these players because they all prefer that mod in general. It's tough to call the mods for this one. Any of those 3 can, either Zudi or Frankie can take the Hard Rock and slap hidden on it to be pretty comfortable as well, and then you're just looking for somebody to take a hidden only on that roster. But we probably see Blue on the hidden, Majora on the Hard Rock for the UK as well. I would assume they match up with the last map.
Perhaps, yeah. Gemsy coming in may take the hidden because he pretty much wants to play everything with hidden. And yeah, it looks like that's the case. Blue back on that no mod. And, well, there's a hidden Hard Rock from Zuti, but apart from that, looking at 2 no mods for Team Canada.
So the preference hidden Hard Rock coming out for Zudi over the required Hard Rock there, but other than that, no overmodding for either of these teams. And I think that makes sense on a map like this. Very comfortable metadata on this pick, so no incentive to overmod, given, AR10 being easier to read than AR 8.3 like on the last pick. It's just sort of a relatively comfortable sort of map in the metadata. Very clearly not comfortable patterns for these players, though. We see a lot of people dropping a lot of early breaks. Vesperit and Frankie in particular, alongside Gemsy, dropping those early combo breaks. It's Blue, Majora, Bubbleman still holding for the UK. Zudinator and Nick still holding for Canada right now, and actually a score lead for Canada at the moment. But there goes Nick's combo.
Oh, and accuracy was pretty incredible from those 2 Canadian FCs. Still is for Zuzi with that hidden Hard Rock, but it's looking pretty dicey for the Canada as we get to this first little slope bit, I guess. Only lasts a moment.
We're going to have to see some pretty solid recovery from the Canadian roster right now. Frankie did drop another miss, and so it is only 1 full combo for them to 3 on the side of the UK. And there go Vesperit and Frankie. That chain miss is just brutal. Those accelerating, decelerating streams are so awkward. It's so easy to chain miss on those as well, the same way it was on No Mod 2. And the UK just having a much better time of this pick with only a quarter of the map left and a 700k and climbing score lead. Dooms, this is one hell of a breakpoint for the UK.
This is massive. This is another really good score in this game. Coming from the UK this time. I mean, no Hard Rock FC for Majora. But, yeah. Super scary score here from the UK. Massive point. They're still behind, though, but with the next pick in tow, they're still in a pretty good spot. Not over yet here for Canada. They have work to do. that pick did not work out. UK looked pretty good during that, across those 3 high combos especially.
Well, you know what they say, it's not over until the fat lady sings, but at 5-4 right now, I think she's starting to clear her throat. We are approaching the inevitable end of this match. There are only so many maps left up right now, and a hidden 2 pick from the United Kingdom. Dooms, you were talking about this as a potential ban, so this is a really interesting one then. Walk us through what's going on here, because I'm very excited to see this picked up.
Okay, this is a bit of a plot twist. So the UK, pretty much all tournament, has been banning Hidden 2. This has not been their bread and butter pick at all. They have a roster for it, but they definitely prefer to go into some of the other skill sets. So the fact that they're picking this now, they must really trust that the head-to-head, they come out on top to have picked this. They must be pretty confident, especially with this being so late on and so pivotal. But you know what? The UK do have a roster that can do well on low AR hidden. So they aren't going to be uncompetitive, absolutely. But they have to be believing that they can beat Canada on this. There's no other way they would have done it otherwise.
Especially this late into the match. And I think one thing to take into account when you're looking at, picking some of these low approach rate picks into Canada, yes, they've got a lot of hidden players, but a lot of their really, really strong hidden players prefer the mod on aim maps mostly and don't play a ridiculous amount of low approach rate. Xylus and Nick for sure are going to be very comfortable on a pick like this, but Zudinator earlier in the year would have struggled on a pick like this on this lower approach rate. I know she's been practicing not only this map, but low approach rate in general. Definitely far better at it than she was at the start of the year. And the same can be said for Jeremy as well, but some of the players on Canada, despite preferring hidden, aren't necessarily low approach rate reading players. And so a pick like this for the UK, if you do have those people who are very solid on low approach rate reading, can absolutely pay off. And we do see a couple early breaks from Canada, a little bit of an adjustment issue going into a map with that lower approach rate. AR 8.3 with hidden forced is very uncomfortable for all of these players. Majority dropping down as well for the UK.
Yeah, it's important to note, this is actually the first time Canada have had to play a low AR pure hidden pick in this tournament since the qualifiers. So they haven't gone for it. Yeah, I can see the thinking from the UK, but it's brave.
It is certainly brave, especially now we do see a drop from Gemsy on the UK. One of those hidden mains dropping down. It's Bubbleman in blue with the full combos, Xylus and Jeremy with the FCs for Canada to compete. Slightly better supporting combos for Canada on Zudi and Nick at the moment. Those early breaks, not as impactful as misses later on into the map. And another miss there from Majora going to impact this scoreline a little more as well. It's nothing huge. The full combo's all still intact that we mentioned. But there goes Blue, dropping on some of those wide-angle jump patterns. These polygonal, awkward aim patterns on low approach rate hidden are so tricky. It looks like such a simple pattern, but it's actually so difficult to get right. The fact that all 4 players on Canada held through that section is remarkable, because that is a very tricky part to get right. And through that as well. Wow.
Well, considering these guys don't like pure low AR hidden, they're hitting some of these hard parts really well. They are in a fantastic spot getting out this first chorus. Just Bubbleman for the UK.
We've seen the bubble carry come into play more than once throughout this tournament. We've seen it all throughout the year in community tournaments, as well as with basically every year. So he's no stranger to this type of situation, but when you've got 2 full combos, Zudi only 100 combo down from an FC alongside Nick on those supporting scores. I mean, look at the score lead just rocking over to Canada right now. It would take a collapse for Canada to lose this. Even 2/3 of the way through, the score lead is already a massive, over 500k right now for them.
Yeah, I can see why UK would have gone for this, but this is looking like a bit of a whiff because Canada have come to this one prepared. Considering they have not gone for this, I am mightily impressed with this team score right now. They are doing things right now, Dio.
they've done more than enough things for this map, Dooms. They are poised to be at match point now. Less than a quarter of the map left. Nick crucially holding through that section, so no chance of a comeback at the end of the map here. And even if he broke, I mean, 800,000 score lead for Canada here. And I think that part of the reason why this pick went so well for Canada instead of the UK, you talk about, well, they're not, preferring the low approach rate reading maps, but a large part of the difficulty in this map coming through that really awkward wide angle jump aim on low approach rate, which all of these hidden players for Canada are so good on. You look at players like Zudinator and Nick specifically on some of those wide angle jump maps with hidden, and you can almost just associate them with the roster lineup for Canada on those picks. So that is a really fantastic team score. Everybody above 700k for Canada on that map. And once again, it's Bubbleman with the full combo 5 100s, but that is just a massively impactful breakpoint for Canada.
Yeah, I mean, the Bubbleman score there, once again, he's been doing incredibly well in this game. He has been carrying through many points, but there's only so much you can do against that team performance. That, to a person, that four-player team score here is pretty incredible. This is a nasty map as far as tournaments go, and that 750k, I'd be happy with that. It's my mod, I'd be happy with 750k in tournament. Incredible stuff.
Bubbleman shook, apparently, after that. I mean, that is a really crazy team score. Even if you miss on that map, if you are a player on Canada, like you said, Dooms, it's hard to be mad at yourself after that one, even if you find the miss, because holy moly, the whole team score is just incredible for them. And now, where do you think Canada goes from here? After all of the picks that we've seen in this matchup so far, where do you think they've got the best shot at closing this one out 7-4? Because they are poised for a top 4 finish at the very least right now.
Well, they know what's going on. I've gone for that last free mod pick. Gone for that last one. Low BPM, flow aim styling. I mean, going into this has worked out well. They can get their specialists on their preferred mod. And then you can compare this to something like the free mod 3 we saw. It is very flow aim focused, but of course it's far slower. And it's more like something you would have found in like a normal 3 slot a few years ago, because of how flow aim focused it is.
Yeah, I heard this compared on the showcase to like I believe the quote was a more refined Ito from Grand Finals in No Mod in 2019, I think it was. So this is a pick that's very reminiscent of, like you said, some of the alt maps that you would have seen a couple years ago, where they're really focused on the flow aim more than anything else. Nowadays, the No Mod 3 picks more focused on some really wonky aim control and changes between flow aim and snap aim. A lot of really heavy circle density in those picks, but in maps like this, it's all about the low BPM stream aim, and that is it. But it's something that can be a little combo dense at AR 9.3.
It is, yeah, AR 9.3 on something like this. You can't just throw hidden on this, but of course Canada certainly could. They're not, but you could. Seeing double hard rock from the UK on this. It's another slightly bigger CS map. I guess, yeah, CS 3.6. So it must be reading comfort, where the CS is still pretty reasonable for them. Here we go then, Dio. It's match point for Team Canada here. 1 point away from knocking out the UK, and they have not had much luck against the UK over the years. But it could change here.
This is one of the best shots they're going to have at it. This is their last pick for Team Canada. If they lose this one, it goes back to the UK, and they've got their pick to try and force that tiebreaker. So this is Canada's shot to close it out. They can try and take the break point if they do lose this, but this is the map they think they've got the best shot on, and it's starting to look like that shot is pretty good. An early break for Majora, a couple early breaks all around, actually. The only 2 full combos left up right now are Zudinator and Nick. Zudi on the hidden hard rock, once again tanking that hard rock mod for Canada, adding the hidden out of preference. You do see Bubbleman down from the FC, Kingling and Blue with very good supporting combos, Xylus dropping again on the hidden for Canada, and so it is an ever so slight combo lead, I think, despite the FC advantage for Canada right now. Although Jeremy's supporting combo along with those two FCs is trying to make me look like a liar right now, as that score lead is just sort of flickering back and forth.
Yeah, it's bang even, getting out the first Ki. Dead even. The accuracies are slightly in favour of the UK. Jeremy down to 96, but he's comboing like a champ. Not a lot really to split them up looking at this. There's got to be a few nerves in this lobby. There has to be.
I mean, this is a big map for both of these teams, right? This is Canada's last pick in this match. They win this, they're guaranteed top 4. They have at least that shot at the Grand Finals weekend if they can beat South Korea. There goes Bubbleman! He's finally dropped a miss actually in the middle of the map. He's been top scoring almost every pick for his team. But it finally drops down the combo. Blue, Kingling, and Majora all holding. There goes Kingling as well on the Hard Rock. It's Blue and Majora on the preference mods, Hidden and Hard Rock. Still going strong for the UK. Zudinator dropping the Hidden Hard Rock play, but it's Nick and Jeremy matching those high combos as Majora finds the drop on the Hard Rock, and now just a straight up combo advantage for Canada. Only Blue holding on for the United Kingdom, and he drops it as well. Dooms, I think that might just be it.
That might just be the show. Got 1k combos on Nick and Jeremy. Xylus is bringing it back. We're at the halfway point. There's a lot more to go, but this bit's slightly easier. This is relatively free. Canada are going to be in a super good spot by the time this steps up again. Look at that, 200k. They are about to take this one down. They're about to finally take down this bogey team. Just a little bit more for them.
And with this type of score lead, already 350k up and climbing, they would have needed to miss already maybe for the UK to have a shot at bringing it back. But we do see a three-way wipe for Canada. It's only Jeremy holding on. If he misses now and everybody on the UK holds through this ending, it's possible that we can see the comeback happen. We're only at that 350k mark, but it still looks so good for Canada. That accumulated score lead is going to do so much to offset it, and I don't even know if there's enough combo left at this point. It might be close, but Jeremy, as long as he holds, is going to guarantee this point for Canada, and I think that should be enough map for the win to come through. He does miss. We'll see if I'm right about that. Kingling trades the miss back on Hard Rock.
They all need to hold from the UK, and that might not even be enough. That might not even be enough, dear. There's not anything left. This is surely it, right?
That has to be it. We are still 300k up for Canada at this point with a sliver of map left. That's going to be it. It's going to be 7-4 for Canada. They're finally going to take down the UK after many consecutive losses to them in the World Cup over the years. They finally take them down and move on to the 4th place deciding match against South Korea later on tonight at 4 UTC. What a match from Canada.
What a match. Canada really stepped it up this game. Super impressive. Crazy scores and taking down UK in a lot of those contested picks. Winning those 50-50s is so important in a matchup like this where both teams are very evenly matched and generally go into the same sorts of maps. Canada just had those wins, and let's not talk about the biggest mind game of the tournament so far, that Hidden 2. They hadn't played it all tournament, and then they just pull off a ridiculous team score. Baiting out that UK pick. Yeah, Canada. Hats off to you. I know my lads from the UK are going down, but hats off to Canada, man. They played this game so well, and they're top 4.
They are top 4 once again, looking to repeat last year's performance. Canada, 3rd place last year, looking with an almost brand new roster. 5 new players to the World Cup stage on this team. Looking to repeat that top 3 performance. They've only got South Korea left standing in their way. And like you said, just an incredible team performance from Canada, I think, is really the deciding factor. Every pick that they won, it was because all of their scores were consistently solid across the entire roster. And You mentioned the mind games on Hidden 2. You can look to No Mod 2 and Free Mod 2 as well as a sort of mind game with them picking into some of those stamina picks, despite the UK picking into speed earlier on in the match. It's an extremely good match from Canada, played very, very well, and I can only hope that they continue that level of play into their matchup later tonight.
And they're going to need it because South Korea are resurgent and they had a very, very strong win against Hong Kong, who have been on great form themselves. And they had a thoroughly professional performance against Hong Kong. They were always in control and they will be eyeing up that top 3 spot just as much as Canada. It's only 7 hours though, so they haven't got too long to wait before they go again. That's going to be an absolute stormer of a match.
I'm ready for that matchup. I think everybody's ready for that matchup, and I think everybody's ready for our last matchup of the weekend as well. Later on tomorrow in the evening, we're going to be having the United States face off against Germany in the winners bracket for that winners finals. Both those teams already guaranteed top 3, but the winner fighting for that spot in the grand finals. And so that is going to be a matchup to watch for everybody left up in the tournament. But that's going to do it for us for now. Thank you to everybody for watching. Once again, congratulations to Canada and commiserations to the UK. They had a fantastic run finishing top 6 this year, but they will exit the tournament after this match. So that is going to do it for us for now. My name is Dia. I've been casting alongside Doomsday. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you again in about 7 hours.
License